Hey everyone, I am Daniel Barry. I'm here with exoticcartrader.com and today I am reviewing the 2019 Mercedes G63 AMG. This has been a long awaited review. I know a ton of people have been interested to see what has been changed, what hasn't, and I'm excited to show you today. Starting out, this car, as you can see, the front end has a complete redesign. It still has a beautiful look and it looks like a G-Wagon, which I'm very glad they kept a lot of the similar roots. I really like how they went with a smaller brush guard on it. Let's be honest, most people aren't going to be plowing stuff over off-roading in these cars. So this has a lot sleeker, sexier look than the original one, which went over the entire front end. The headlights are updated. Everyone's going with these halo LED headlights. These lights up here, any of the flashers, they've been redesigned to kind of look sleeker. The grille has been completely reformed, and you can't miss the fact that this is a Mercedes.
Is that a Mercedes?
I want to show you the wheels. Comes factory with 22-inch wheels all around. It kind of is an awesome truck because it shows the size of the wheel, the size of the brakes, and lets you know that this is a performance machine as well. These brake calipers are massive. Those have been upgraded for stopping power, which it needs when you see how it performs later. Also, I want to point out this new key. The key looks futuristic. It's not that basic Mercedes key that all of them have anymore. This one looks like it's a $200,000 car. So not a ton has changed from the rear end of these cars. As you can see, they've added a larger LED light up here just to give you a little bit more notification when it's stopping. And they hid the windshield wiper, which I really like. Before it was up top, came and swooped down. It was kind of an eyesore. This one is hidden behind the massive wheel that's mounted on the back. The craziest difference though is the width of this truck. You know, you could see a significant difference in the width of the fenders on this truck. It makes it a little bit of a different drive, especially when backing up. But overall, the rear end hasn't changed completely. And if you're behind one, you can definitely tell it's a new G-Wagon. We're inside the G-Wagon right now. I'm gonna go ahead and fire it up for you just to show you some of the electronics and the updates on this car. I love, just to start out, the new push button. It's not the big, bulky, ugly Mercedes one that they had before. Something as simple as this gives it a lot sleeker look. Go ahead and turn it on for you. AMG fires right up across the board. It doesn't look like an afterthought anymore. There's not some big iPad looking thing that's mounted, not even flush. This all flows super nicely from the digital dash to the spec sheet that you can go through and read off whatever you want to do as far as Bluetooth, navigation, backup, whatever. Everything on this car with the interior design was excellent. They did a lot of luxury small details that I really like, that I picked up on, like the IWC timepiece that they added in here, and even the new air vents and styling. It gives it a lot more futuristic look. I have to give a round of applause on Mercedes for finally listening. Before, if you've owned any previous G-Wagon, you'd notice that there was a little basketball hoop net looking cup holder that was stuck on the side of this. No more. We finally have a real set of cup holders in the middle, so you can drive with your morning coffee on your way to work and not feel like you're reaching over and putting your cup in a flimsy net. So round of applause to Mercedes for listening to these complaints. Speaking of the center console here, everything is set up very easy to access. You can flip through all the dynamic modes here. Check out if you want to be in Sport, Sport Plus, open up the exhaust valves, close the exhaust valves, cameras, adjustable ride height, and so on. They made everything very futuristic and simple to use. The touch controls here on the steering wheel are beautiful. I like all the brush, nickel plated stuff that they have going on. This one doesn't have the carbon fiber. I've seen one with the carbon fiber. That looks excellent. But I do really enjoy the sleekness of this matte wood look. Of course, we have the Alcantara headliner, which is a beautiful accessory. And overall, it's super comfortable. There's a ton of room. It doesn't feel as tight as the other G-Wagon. You've only gained about an inch or so of leg room, but it does feel wider. And if you're in the back seat, you'll definitely have a lot more leg room because they've added about 6 inches. Let's get in this thing, take it for a ride and see how it performs. All right, so it's finally time to drive the 2019 G63. This has been a long awaited drive because the G-Wagon has been so similar on the interior for so long that it looked so outdated. Over the last couple years, I couldn't even justify the kind of money that people were spending on a G-Wagon. I get that it was a V8 Bi-Turbo, or even if you got the 65, a V12 Bi-Turbo, but the interior had this giant screen that was stuck on there.
Bruh, look at this dude.
It looked like an afterthought. All the dials, everything was so old, and it literally looked like something out of a 2008, 2007 Mercedes that you would see it, you know, for sale for 10, 15 grand now. But now with the release, this is a luxury interior. They knocked it out of the park with this car. The way that the dash is all digital, the way that the odometer, speedometer is all digital, the way that they created this beautiful center console, which we have a flat matte wood in, and it's like a beautiful color combination. And then even the simplest of things that they did, like the dials on the steering wheel here, just look so elegant. It looks like a car that is worth the money. Before, you were pretty much buying the engine and you were buying the performance of it. Now you're driving an elegant, beautiful SUV on both the interior and exterior. The way that they designed the seats to the dash, even the doors with the way that they mounted the speakers, everything is done excellent in this car. It's very easy to select between the dynamics, so you can put it in sport, sport plus, slippery, comfort, whatever you want. Everything's very accessible right at your hands right here. I just clicked it into sport plus, so what we're gonna do is get over here on a little bit of an empty free road and see how it reacts. It already sounds very aggressive, so let's see what we got. Oh my gosh. Wow. So it actually got a little almost squirrely there for a second. It has a little bit of turbo lag. I didn't feel anything when I went pedal to metal, and then as soon as that turbo spooled, this thing is a rocket ship. You feel like you're in a tank in a big secured vehicle, but once this thing moves, it moves. It's not a everyday basic SUV. This thing, I've driven the Lamborghini Urus, I've driven the Range Rover Sport Supercharged, even like the GLE 63 AMG. This thing is very comparable performance-wise to all of those. It's super impressive, the amount of speed and 0 to 60 power it has for a truck that's this big. Because after all, the G-Wagon was originally made for a military vehicle, so this thing is a big, bulky truck. The truck is actually larger than the old G-Wagon, and that's one thing I don't like, actually, from a driving aspect, is the fenders are super wide. So when you're in a tight spot, I think it's about 3 or 4 inches wider than the original G-Wagon from the previous generation, and the fender flares definitely stick out. So it's not a super easy car to park. Obviously, once you're on the open road, it's very comfortable. You can cruise, you can come around corners, merge lanes, whatever. But when you're in a tight parking lot or something, you definitely have to be careful. It actually reminds me very similar of when I first drove the new body style Ford F-150 Raptor, because it just has those wide hips on it. It's something you have to be careful around corners when you're in tight spaces. I just need to hit this thing one more time because that thing was awesome. Oh my gosh. And it even has a little pop to it too, like an exotic. It sounds like an exotic actually when it's downshifting. This thing is awesome. You can also have all the different locking differential setups at your fingertips like you did with the old G-Wagon. So technically, if you wanted to get off-road on this thing, that would be no issue at all. I probably wouldn't do it myself, but hey, if you got the guts to do it, this truck will no doubt get you through any kind of terrain you're looking to do. All right, guys, if you enjoyed this review, check out our YouTube page, give us a subscribe. Also, check out our inventory on exoticcartrader.com. Let us know in the comments what you want to see us do next. We're always looking to do more reviews, and I want to hear what you have to say. Thank you so much.